Hi, welcome back to Jen's Jungle, and this is part 2 of Meet All My Pets. So I have a lot of pets. I have around 50 pets. And before I start any of these videos, I like to say that I am not encouraging anyone to get this number of pets. This is a lot of pets and they take a lot of care. So part 1 focuses on my daytime animals, and part 2 is going to be my nighttime or my nocturnal animals. So if the lighting's not great in here, I do apologise. It is currently halfway through the night, and I'm filming this now so that the animals are more naturally awake. So without further ado, let's meet the Jungle Gang part 2. So first up we have Huffle. This is Huffle, short for Hufflepuff, and she is an African pygmy hedgehog. And she's a bit grumpy at the moment. So Huffle is 4 years old now. I got her when she was quite young, and I've had her most of her life. She is quite a grumpy girl. My previous hedgehog, Hodge, he was quite friendly. Huffle doesn't really like being handled. As you can see, she mainly just curls herself up into a ball when I handle her. No matter how much time and effort I put into her, she's just not so keen on being handled, so I don't handle her too often. I let her out for some free roam time. I give her baths as needed. Hedgehogs get really dry skin, so they need regular baths. But apart from that, she is quite a hands-off pet. She is super lovely though. And that is Huffle. I'm going to pop her back before she gets too angry. Next up we have Teddy. Now, you might mistake Teddy for a hedgehog, like Huffle, but he is in fact a lesser hedgehog tenrec. And despite having hedgehog in the name, they are not hedgehogs at all. In fact, they are more closely related to elephants than hedgehogs. In the wild, there are many different types of tenrec, and you can learn about them more in my tenrec talks. But as I said, Teddy is a lesser hedgehog tenrec. So these can live up to 20 years. They are nocturnal, and they spend half the year in torpor, which means they're basically asleep for half the year. Teddy is still half in torpor, so he's still quite sleepy. They are insectivores. They mainly live off insects and other animal protein. They do make lovely pets, but they do require quite specialist care. You've got to know how to keep them right. But once you know how to look after them, they are truly fantastic little pets. Their care is quite different to hedgehogs. They are more arboreal. They're longer lived. Their diets are a bit more complex. There's no commercially available tenrec food. Teddy is about 5 years old now. He was from an accidental litter and I took him in. Tenrecs, you cannot tell by looking at them whether they're male or female. You have to send off a sample of their saliva to Germany to find out. And they should be kept alone unless you know their genders. But they are really lovely. And this is Teddy. Next, I'm going to introduce you to my 3 hamsters. Now, I love hamsters. They're one of the pets I've had throughout my life. They're often seen as a children's pet, but actually they don't make great pets for children because they're up at night and they're not the easiest to handle. But I think for adults they make fantastic little pets. Their main downside is their short lifespan. Most only live to about 2 years. But personality-wise, temperament-wise, they are absolutely lovely. So first up, we have my rescue hamster Patrick. Patrick is 2.5 years old. He is a male Syrian. I got him from my local RSPCA. We went there to get a guinea pig. And I met Patrick. He was 2 at the time. And I was told that he was unlikely to ever get a home because of his age. And of course, I couldn't resist that. So he came home with me. As you can see, he's quite an elderly boy, but he's still quite active. He is quite good at having strokes, but he's not always the best being held. Hence why I'm just holding my hand out and letting him come out in his own time if he wants to. Syrians are the most common type of hamster. They're also known as like teddy bear hamsters or golden hamsters, but Syrian hamster is the proper name. And they are a species, not a breed. So the different hamsters are different species. They can't mix. Hamsters, of course, should be kept solitary. They are nocturnal, live to be about 2 years, as I said. And they make fantastic pets when properly cared for. I've had numerous hamsters over my life, and each one is unique and has its own personality. But yeah, this is the lovely Patrick. My next hamster is my other Syrian hamster. This is Olivia. She is a female Syrian hamster. She is coming on for 2 years now. I rescued her off Facebook Marketplace. She was being kept in a tiny little cage with absolutely no enrichment, and she was showing all the stress behaviours. So she was bar chewing, she was monkey barring, she was just running round and round a cage because she had absolutely nothing to do. The reason I was given for her being rehomed is that the child had lost interest. I think this must be one of the most common reasons that hamsters are rehomed, is that children just get bored. As I said, people think of them as children's pets, but they are not good children's pets. They're much better for adults. And if you are going to get your child it, you need to take responsibility for the pet. Olivia is a lovely little girl. She's still looking good for her age. I always transport them around in a carrier or in a hide or even in a coffee cup, just in case they ever get freaked and jump. If they fell from even like sitting height, this could really hurt a hamster. So it's always much safer to carry them round and only handle them a small distance off the floor. Yeah. That is lovely Olivia, my nearly 2-year-old female Syrian hamster. And my third, last but definitely not least hamster is Bumblebee. So Bumblebee is my 2.25-year-old female Chinese hamster. Chinese hamsters are probably the least common of the hamsters kept in captivity. For 2 and a bit, she is really active, although Chinese hamsters have been known to live longer. Some have been known to live 3 to 4 years, more commonly. She was another marketplace rescue. So she was being kept in a crit tail cage. And her ad actually said she was a female Syrian. And when I first saw the picture of her, I couldn't quite tell what she was. But when I went and picked her up, she was quite evidently a Chinese. But of course, that didn't make a difference to me. I do have a bit of a soft spot for Chinese hamsters. But those are my 3 hamsters. Each, of course, kept separately. And all 3 rescues. And all 3 are absolutely gorgeous. So this is Nagini. She is my African egg-eating snake. She is quite a small snake. She's only a couple of feet long. And as the name suggests, she is egg-eating, so she only eats eggs. Now, I've always loved snakes, but I would never get a rodent-eating snake. And this isn't because I disagree with them. I understand the need for them to eat. But it's simply because I keep a lot of small rodents and I only have the one pet room. And I would have really high anxiety about keeping a rodent-eating snake in the same room as my rodents. Just personally, I couldn't do it. And I myself would struggle to feed them the frozen rodents. Hence why, when I was given the opportunity to get an egg-eating snake, I thought this is fantastic. She was a rehome. Not quite sure how old she is. Every week I just pop in quail eggs into her enclosure. She swallows them, pulls them back to the back of her throat, cracks the shell, sucks out all the innards, and then regurgitates the shell. End of the week, I take out the eggshells and I put new eggs in. So they've not got high care needs, but it is specialist. So definitely not for everyone and not a beginners. So unless you have experience with other reptiles or other snakes, it's not one I'd necessarily recommend. But they are great, especially for people like me who keep lots of small pets. So that is Nagini. Next up we have my gecko griff, who of course has hidden himself in the one hide I can't quite get him out of. So we'll see if we can get him to show you. He is hiding in there. I will attach some different footage of him so you can get a better view of him. As I said, he's a gecko. It's a type of New Caledonian gecko. Quite similar to crested gecko. Mainly fed on liquid feed, need regular misting, heat, UVB, and I personally like to keep them in a bioactive setup. But that is Griff, my gecko. My other nocturnal pets are not the most handleable, so I will introduce you to them and add in some B-roll footage to show you. So first up, I have Ollie, who is my turtle. He is a musk turtle. I'm not sure if he's a true musk or if he's a musk cross razorback musk, or I'm not sure exactly what type of musk turtle he is. So there are several different types. There is the razorback musk turtle, the loggerhead musk turtle, and the common musk turtle. He's possibly a combination of a common and a razorback. He is quite large for a musk turtle. When you see them in the store, they are tiny little things and they don't always tell you just how big they can get. And he is a fair size. So he was a rehome. He was being kept in a tiny little, I think it was a 60-litre tank. And it wasn't all the way to the top either. It was actually one of those sort of starter pack tanks you see in a lot of pet shops, which might be suitable for really young turtles, but are not suitable for a full-grown adult. So he is now living his life in my 260-litre tank, where he's got a lot more space. I'm not quite sure of his age. I was told that he was 5 when I took him in, but I think he may have been older. And I've had him a fair few years now, so he's probably actually sitting around 10. But musk turtles can live 30 years plus, so he has probably got a lot of life left in him. And finally, we have my 3 African pygmy dormice. So African pygmy dormice are, as the name suggests, tiny. They are also known as micro squirrels, and I have 3 of them: Percy, Charlie, and Bill. Because they're so tiny and fragile and also very skitty, they are not good to handle. They are much more watch pets. They also require specialist care, have to be kept at a certain temperature, need specialist food, which isn't commercially available. So they're definitely not the right pet for many people, but I absolutely love my 3. I've had them about 3 years now. Because they're not commonly kept in captivity, not a lot about them is known, but I believe it's about 4 to 6 years that they commonly live. I love these little fellas, they're just fascinating to watch. And for the right people, they make great pets. So that's the end of part 2 of my Meet All My Pets, my nocturnal pets. As I said, there are a lot of them. They take a lot of care. But I truly love all my animals, the vast majority of whom are rescues. My third part will be my extended pet family. So I'm very close to my aunt and uncle, and they have a lot of pets, and in fact they have some of my pets at theirs, and I have some of their pets here. So you can meet my lovely guinea pig and one of my lovely tortoises who currently live with them. And of course my 3 dogs. My 3 dogs are shared custody. They spend half the time with me and half the time there. And they will be in my third part. So please like and subscribe to meet the rest of my gang. I'll also be bringing out more care videos about some of the animals I've mentioned. I've already done daily care and tenrec care, but there'll be more to come. And if you just like keeping up with all the animal content and the Jungle Gang, hit that subscribe button, give us a like and post a comment. It will really help me out as a small animal tuber. And I hope to see you soon. Bye!